The Celestial Academy stood as a monument to interspecies unity, its crystalline towers piercing the clouds above the floating island of Ethermore. For centuries, it had been a sanctuary where beings from across the known universes gathered to study the ancient arts of magic, combat, and diplomacy. Humans, elves, dragonkin, and countless other species walked its hallowed halls in supposed harmony. But harmony, Kylie had learned, was often just a pretty word that masked ugly truths. Kylie adjusted the strap of her worn leather satchel as she navigated the crowded courtyard. Between classes, at 17, she was one of only a handful of humans at the academy, and she felt the weight of that distinction every single day. Her brown hair fell in simple waves around her shoulders, and her plain academy uniform gray tunic and practical boots stood in stark contrast to the elaborate robes and enchanted accessories worn by her wealthier, more powerful classmates. She kept her eyes down, a survival strategy she'd perfected over her 2 years at the academy. If she didn't make eye contact, if she didn't draw attention, sometimes she could make it through an entire day without incident. But not today. Well, if it isn't the little human rat. Kylie's stomach dropped. She knew that voice, smooth, cultured, and dripping with contempt. William Ashford, the son of one of the most powerful noble families in the celestial realm, stood blocking her path. He was tall and devastatingly handsome, with sharp features, golden hair that seemed to catch the light like spun metal, and eyes the color of Arctic ice. Those eyes held nothing but disdain as they fixed on her. Behind him stood his usual entourage, 3 other students from prominent families, all wearing smirks that matched their leaders. "Excuse me," Kylie mumbled, trying to step around him. William moved smoothly to block her path again. "I don't recall dismissing you. You know, I've been thinking about your kind. Humans, so fragile, so magically inept. Tell me, how does it feel knowing you'll never be more than dead weight in this institution?" Heat crept up Kylie's neck, a mixture of shame and anger. She'd heard variations of this speech before from William, from others. Humans were the weakest species at the academy, possessing only rudimentary magical abilities compared to the other races. Most humans who attended came from wealthy families who could afford the astronomical tuition. Kylie was here on a scholarship, which made her an even bigger target. "I have class," she said quietly, trying once more to move past him. This time, William's hand shot out and grabbed her satchel, yanking it from her shoulder. Books and papers scattered across the courtyard stones. Laughter erupted from the growing crowd of onlookers. "Oops," William said, his smile cruel. "How clumsy of me." Something inside Kylie snapped. Maybe it was the accumulated weight of 2 years of torment. Maybe it was the way everyone just stood there watching, doing nothing. Maybe she was simply tired of being afraid. "Give it back," she said, her voice stronger now. William's eyebrows rose in mock surprise. "Oh, the rat has teeth." He held the empty satchel above his head, well out of her reach. "Come and get it, human." Kylie's hands clenched into fists at her sides. She could feel something building inside her chest, a pressure hot and electric. It was her magic, what little she possessed, responding to her emotional state. Human magic was unpredictable, especially when fueled by strong emotions. "Last warning," she said. Though she wasn't sure who she was warning, William or herself. William laughed, a cold sound that echoed off the courtyard walls. "Or what? You'll cry at me. Run to the instructors like the pathetic little." Kylie didn't let him finish. Years of self-defense training, a necessity for a human in this world, kicked in. She feinted left, then drove her right fist forward in a sharp jab that connected solidly with William's jaw. The courtyard fell silent. William stumbled back, more from shock than pain, his hand going to his face. For a moment, disbelief flickered across his features. Then his expression hardened into something dangerous. "You dare strike me?" His voice was low, deadly. Blue light began to crackle round his hands, battle magic, far more powerful than anything Kylie could summon. "William, don't," one of his friends started. But it was too late. William launched a bolt of energy at Kylie. She threw up her hands instinctively, and somehow miraculously a shield of golden light materialized in front of her. The attack dissipated against it, but the effort of maintaining the shield was already draining her limited reserves. Then William was on her. Physical now, his fist connecting with her shoulder and sending her sprawling. The shield vanished. Kylie tried to scramble away, but he grabbed her by the collar, hauling her up. His face was a mask of fury, all pretense of civility gone. "I'm going to teach you your place." "Human," he snarled. Kylie's magic surged again, wild and uncontrolled. A pulse of raw energy exploded outward from her body, catching William full in the chest and throwing him backward. He slammed into the courtyard fountain with a sickening crack. Everything happened very quickly after that. Kylie's vision blurred at the edges. She'd used too much magic, more than her human body could safely channel. She was vaguely aware of shouting, of running footsteps. Strong hands caught her before she hit the ground. Enough. The voice was thunderous, carrying the weight of authority. Instructor Theron, the Academy's combat master, stood between Kylie and William, his expression one of barely contained rage. What is the meaning of this? But he was too late. Far too late. The damage was done. William was being helped up by his friends, magical healing already knitting whatever injuries he'd sustained. But the look he gave Kylie over Theron's shoulder was pure venom, a promise of future retribution. Kylie, barely conscious, understood with crystal clarity that this wasn't over. It was only beginning. She'd crossed a line, had dared to fight back, and in doing so, she'd made an enemy of the most dangerous student at the Celestial Academy.